Four, three, two, one. Hey there, spiritual dope. It's time for another dose of that. It's time for another hit of that spiritual dope. Hey there, guys. This is Brandon Hanley, and I am here today with an episode that is about self-expression. And we're going to dig deep into what that means for you. And we're going to take a look at, this because I think that a lot of people think about self-expression as that thing that everybody else sees, right? If we remember Madonna's "Express Yourself," hey na 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 na. What she was saying was, let people see kind of what's outside of you. I think this is like the armor that most people put on to keep themselves safe versus the vulnerability, as it were, of being yourself and letting that come out. And that's really what we're going to get into, right? Because how do you approach self-expression, all right? And how can you express it, approach this in maybe another way? And everything that we've talked about here in these up to this point, these 6 different pieces, actually, is it 6, 7? I don't know. I have to look at the number. But everything culminates into the final piece, which is self-expression. And that is what is within you, right? Inside of you, the self, coming out of you all the way out and into being. And so I think one of the first places I actually realized this was in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, of all places. You'd seen it like a million times, seen it so many times in marketing materials, mostly marketing materials. You definitely see it in psychology, and what you think it means then totally changes, right? And I think that this goes to the fact of when we're talking about reading a book, when we're talking about reading certain materials, when we're talking about rereading these things, it's not the materials that's changed. It's not the book that has changed. It's you. Something about you is different now. Something about you has changed. So let's just, for giggles, let's go through Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? The first one's going to be your physiological, right? Your needs for warmth and shelter, for sex and sleep. We're going to need to go through all of these as we, if you're thinking about all those things, then you really don't make it anywhere else, right? So fundamentally, the foundation is physiological. The second one is safety. If you're not feeling safe, if you're not, if you're in a bad space, then you're not going anywhere, right? And I think that examples include social stability. Next on the list is, feeling loved or belonging, right? Maybe you're in a certain scenario, and if you don't feel like you belong, then you're looking for a way to get out, right? You're looking for a place somewhere else that you can go where people understand who you are and what it is that you bring to the situation, value you. And that really brings us up to the next one is how do you feel valued, right? What is your worth? How do you feel valued? And this comes from inside and outside. And this is, I think this one teeters in between. This is number 4, and this teeters in between number 5, right? Because you finally get into number 5, and number 5 is that self-actualization, right? That's self-actualization. And now that you're familiar with all these, I want to share something else with you that I certainly had never been aware of until kind of experiencing these things, and until really just exploring Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Because when you first see this, they're very fundamental, right? Very fundamental, and you're just like, well, here are these 5 things, and everybody needs these things, and once I, where am I marketing to, right? And once you get out of how you're applying this to everyone else out there, and you start taking on how you're applying it to you, it takes on a whole different meaning. because he talks about each of these four, right? The first four, physiological, safety, love, esteem, and these are what they call deficiency needs, right? So what that means is, if you don't already have these, then you're gonna go get them, and you're gonna go look for them. There's like kind of a scarcity approach to this. Once you go get these, though, you don't seek any more of them, right? So once you've acquired some of these certain spaces, take your housing for example. You go get a house. How many more do you need to make sure that you're sheltered and you're safe and you're warm and you've got a place to shower? Take sex for example, right? Once you've already had some sex for the day, at least, or whatever, how many more times do you need to have it? How many more times are you looking to have it that day, or even in a period of time? And so once you've acquired some of those things, the motivation factor drastically drops. Food, once you've eaten, once you've already had your meal for the day, or even lunch or a snack, right? Your mind is preoccupied with. This is where self-actualization is actually a little bit different. He puts this in the category of a being need, and a being need is also in the growth space, right? So and the thing is once you find this self-actualization space and you can you begin to grow, the desire for that increases, so that this is like the continuous growth, continuing to want more of kind of that. And for me, this is kind of my term, right? This is, you want another hit of that spiritual dope. You've hit a certain space and you've gone to a certain place. You've extended beyond what you thought was possible for yourself, or you've gotten a taste of what is possible for yourself if you show up and if you decide to put the effort in, and you want more of that, right? This can happen with an athlete. This can happen with just being a badass parent. This can happen with work. This can happen with finance. So this shows up in a number of different places. It's not just the spiritual realm, but it is something that once you kind of take it all in and internalized it, you begin to actualize it, and that actualization really means that you're pushing out from within what is inside of you. You're it is literally, I mean, that's what actualization means, and you're letting that come from within and out. And I think that another word that really captures this is what did I get here? I know that I jotted down some notes here for this, but enthusiasm is another one that's really big for this idea and thought space. You put it together with self-actualization, which is to make what is within you real on the outside, right? I mean, that's the culmination, guys. Here, that's the thoughts into things, people. That is connecting with your higher self, and within those deficiency needs, right? Initially, it was thought that you had to have all those met, and you don't. Okay, you don't have to wait until somebody else on the outside shows you that you're valued. You don't have to wait until all these other needs are met. What you want to do, or what, if you're capable of capturing just a moment within your mind, all that is possible for you, and even if it's a small thing that you think is possible for you, you start taking the steps towards that one thing. This is the momentum. This is that taste of growth. And once you find that for yourself, it's really hard to stop going after it. It's really hard to stop going after it. And so the challenge is finding it within yourself, and you will 100%. You will find this within yourself. You're already finding pieces of it, and it's just a matter of, do you have the faith? Do you have the confidence in yourself to go ahead and kind of manifest that? And you don't have to. You don't have to. You don't have to see it through to the not see it through to the end. But you don't. It's, if you can see it, it can happen, right? This is just kind of the vision. But again, so taking what's within, realizing that you've got some of these other needs, and just kind of understand the hierarchy of all these things, and realize that there's a place that you're going to get to if you're not already there. And if you've already tasted it, understand where it kind of fits, and understand what some of those motivators are, and see how it all fits. And again, I'm going to go back to this is also the springboard of enthusiasm. This is also where spirituality comes into it. This is also where where I come into it, and how I feel about it, and my personal approach. But enthusiasm, right? And Greek meaning theos, the God, meaning God, and then entheos, possessed by God, inspired, right? And to let this out of you. This is the expression of your actualization. Making what is within come into the real. And I know that I've hit it on it a couple of times, and I just want you to see this for yourself, and realize that this isn't just mindless prattle. This is, if any space that you look at in psychology and religion and just kind of athletes, right? Even athletically inclined people, this is what drives and motivates them, right? Once they realize that they can accomplish these certain things with these physical feats. And while certainly a little bit more physically visible and socially acceptable, it also works from the inside out, right? And you're going to need to, for me, I think, and for yourself, you need to make a decision for yourself to make this leap, right? From, and like I said, from humanity to divinity, right? You begin to look for evidence that this is real for you, that you're able to see something inside and have it show up on the outside, right? And once you make this decision, you will find that all of the fragments of this truth for yourself, up until this point, will finally relate to the whole. And this is where I kind of want to get you to. This is where we are all working towards. This is the pinnacle, right? I mean, this is the pinnacle of the hierarchy of needs. That once we get to this space, that it becomes so unreal that it can't be anything but real. And again, let's work together. If you've made it through here, I'll figure out some way to help you out, right? If you made it all the way through all these different bits and pieces of the divine framework, and you're still kind of curious, reach out to me, ping me, and we'll see if we can't create something else in order for you to reset your filters, in order for you to go ahead and make the leap from humanity to divinity. Thanks for checking it out, guys.